What would Dragon Ball be without a continuous timeline? The answer is an absolute mess, and with the time placement of Dragon Ball Super, many fans have been confused as to where the series actually takes place. So what we're going to be doing is taking a look at the entire Dragon Ball timeline, all the way from its conception up to where we currently are in the manga. Now, one thing that you must keep in mind is that we have absolutely no backstory on Universe 6 or any of the other universes. Everything that you're about to hear in this video is 100% from Universe 7. Starting things off, we have the pre-Dragon Ball era. This includes all the events that had happened before Goku's childhood. The first thing said to have ever happened in the Dragon Ball universe was the creation of Majin Buu. As soon as time started ticking in Universe 7, Majin Buu was there as the incarnation of evil. Now, more stuff did happen with Majin Buu, but it's later on down the timeline. The next most notable thing actually has to do with the character known as Zerama. Now, a lot of you may not know who Zerama actually is. Zerama is the original creator of the Super Dragon Balls. He made the Super Dragon Balls 37,000 kilometers in diameter and spread them across both Universe 6 and 7. The creation of Kid Buu and Zerama creating the Super Dragon Balls were among the first two things to have ever happened in the Dragon Ball Z universe. So it is not important that you know what the term age is, but for the rest of the video I am going to be throwing around the term age a fair bit, so just to clear things up, age is referring to the year. Over 100 million years before age, the earliest Kais were thought to exist. The only Kai remaining from that time period is the Old Kai. Speaking of the Old Kai, around 75 million years before age, he was sealed in the Z-Sword by the God of Destruction Beerus. It is worth mentioning that it is currently unknown in what time period Beerus became God of Destruction. Moving 75 million years down the timeline, we have something that changed the Dragon Ball universe. A wizard named Bibidi successfully controlled Majin Buu. This was the darkest time that Universe 7 had ever seen. It was the eradication of not only planets, but 4 out of 5 Supreme Kais. However, one of the Kais, that being East Supreme Kai, manages to kill Bibidi while he had already concealed Majin Buu. Thus, the threat was relinquished for a few million years. Now, moving down to 238 years before age, it is believed that the original Super Saiyan appears and wreaks havoc all across the universe. For a few hundred years after that, there is peace in Universe 7. It is not until age 451 until King Kai meets Beerus for the first time. Beerus gets angry and destroys most of King Kai's planet. Skipping ahead a few years, Kami creates the Earth Dragon Balls. In age 650, the very first World Martial Arts Tournament is held. Around 70 years later, from age 720 to age 730, the Saiyan Tuffle War takes place. 2 years after the Saiyan Tuffle War, the Prince of All Saiyans is born. In age 737, Goku is born, and the events of Dragon Ball take place 12 years later in age 749. Everything that happened in Dragon Ball took place over 8 years. Dragon Ball's story ends in age 757. The Dragon Ball Z story spans over 14 years from age 761 to age 774. Now, this is where it gets a little bit confusing. We don't even have 100% confirmation on where Dragon Ball Super takes place. Just know that when Goku leaves with Oob, it is age 784. Everything that's happening in Dragon Ball Super takes place before that. Now, to quickly touch on Dragon Ball GT, it ends in age 889, when Goku and Vegeta Jr. fight each other in the 64th World Martial Arts Tournament. Now, that is the furthest we have gone in the future in a Dragon Ball animated series. However, in the Dragon Ball MMO Dragon Ball Online, it reveals details that have happened all the way up until age 1000. Now, I don't know if this is canon or not, but some of it is pretty cool. For example, in age 801, Goku goes missing. Realizing his death is imminent, he wants to have a final battle with Vegeta. Years later, a supernova explosion is detected. It is assumed to be Goku and Vegeta's final battle. Along with that, it is said by age 1000 that the human race is mixed with the Saiyan race so much over the years that the people of Earth can actually transform into Super Saiyans because they have enough Saiyan blood. Again, that is from Dragon Ball Online, but this has been the Dragon Ball timeline. The more Dragon Ball Super expands, the larger this timeline will be, but as always, I will see you in the next Dragon Ball Z video.